JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 16th of June 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page. If you click here on the top, it'll take you to this page, which we update on a daily basis, and I believe you can find a lot of useful information here. So yep, check us out here on jfdbank.com. So guys, yep, I can see in the chat room, Evo, good afternoon to you too. Basically for now, jumping into the charts here, the first one I want to pick up here is the German index DAX, and yep, so far the index is drifting to the downside here a little bit, not much of course, but we are still within the rising wedge pattern. So so far this idea is kind of working out, and we are drifting back below this 15,732 territory. So basically what I'm going to be aiming here for is a possible test of the this lower side of the rising wedge. If that happens and if it holds, yep, a nice rebound here could be possible. However, if we start breaking it and we fall below the 21-day EMA and stay below that 21-day EMA, then well, maybe we could consider further declines here. Now, in terms of the upside, of course, this scenario here that I just mentioned could come in nicely if we do see a nice good rebound from this lower side of the rising wedge. But of course, we'll keep an eye on the current all-time high near the 15,802, 3 approximately around there. If that gets cleared, that area gets cleared, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could join in. I can see in the chat room here, Evu, I'm sorry, what are you referring to? Could you specify, please, because I'm not really sure what you mean. But coming back to the charts here, the NASDAQ 100 is, well, I should say, drifted yesterday to the downside. It moved lower and it fell back below the previous all-time high, because as you can see here on Monday we did form a new all-time high. We did push further north, and yep, yesterday we fell back below it. So we fell back below this 14,073 territory, but on Monday we did hit the area around here near this 14,129 zone. And now, of course, the big question here is, can we see a bit of a larger correction to the downside? Now, if we take a look at the cash index, we'll see that the price is sitting at around 14,047 mark, so just slightly above yesterday's close, but below the 14,073 zone. So if it continues to trade below that hurdle, well, another slide here could be possible towards this upside line taken from the low of the 19th of May of 2021, of course. So if in order to consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the downside, well, a break of this upside line would be needed, and then yes, of course, lower levels could be met. So let's see how this is going to play out. For now, the big question here is, can we see a test of this short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of May. If we can, then another question is, of course, can we rebound from it? But let's see, like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. For now, I would say like this, that for me personally, as long as the price stays below the previous all-time high here near the 14,073, then yep, a bit of a slide here could be possible. However, don't forget that we have the FOMC statement today, so a lot of things can change. But of course, we'll keep an eye on the indices, and we'll pick up on a few tomorrow, and then we'll see what we can expect from there. Erica, yep, you can see you in chat room is here as well. Good afternoon to you too. Now, DXY, the dollar index, so still trading below the 90.63 territory, but not really, let's say, rushing to the downside. So that means that yes, traders are waiting for the FOMC statement, and then they might react. The some activity could come on a actually slightly before the announcement, and but again, probably the whole action will start coming after the release. So yeah, the release of the statement. So yeah, for now, we're keeping an eye on this barrier, the 90.63. If that gets cleared, then yes, we could maybe go for the 90.90 zone, or this 100-day EMA shown here as the green line. In terms of silver, silver is still stuck above this highlighted territory. I spoke about this level, these two levels, the 27.20 and the 27.40 yesterday, and basically I said that in order to consider maybe a bit of a larger correction to the downside, we need to see a nice good drop below this highlighted area right here, and then yes, we could aim for maybe for this 26.73 territory mark by the low the 13th of May, or we could target this upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of March of 2020. So for now, long story short, let's see how this is going to play out. But as long as it, for example, stays somewhere around here and continues to oscillate around the 21-day EMA, I'm not really touching this one. I'm just going to be observing this one. But if we climb and higher, break the downside line taken from the high of the 18th of May, and then rise above the 28.23 territory right here, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for more buyers. So for now, guys, let's see where this is going to go. Certainly the commodities probably also waiting for a move in DXY. But again, for now, I mean, it's a bit of a tricky one, so let's leave it after the statement. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is drifting to the downside here today. However, we might see this as a temporary correction possibly, because again, yes, the 200-day EMA did provide good resistance, and now we're seeing a bit of a slide here, but let's see if this 21-day EMA provides support or not. But also keep your eyes on this short-term tentative upside line taken from the low of the 8th of June. So in a way, I mean, even if we drop slightly below the 21-day EMA, the bulls could come in somewhere around here. For the downside, what I need here to see is, well, at this point, probably I'll stick to the low of the 12th of June here, near the 34,635 zone, and yep, then we could consider some lower areas, and then yep, a lower, maybe we could see a further decline. But again, at the moment, guys, we are seeing a move lower, but that could be classed as a temporary correction for now. If this upside line does provide support, then yes, a nice rebound here could be possible. But if you want to be a little bit more on the careful side, then maybe wait for either a push above this 200-day EMA. This is where you could start looking at the upside again, or if you're a little bit more cautious, then 42,101 zone, roughly around here, might do the trick. However, to be honest, I'm leaning a little bit more towards the yesterday's high near the 41,322, because just to be it might be actually enough for a break of it. It would be enough to open the door towards higher areas, because such a move here would confirm a forthcoming higher high. Ripple, so Ripple is also drifting to the downside, but as I said before, in order for me to get comfortable with, let's say, the downside here, then yes, a drop below the 0.7910 territory would be needed. At the same time, we would already be placed below the 200-day EMA, and potentially more sellers could join in here, so let's keep that in mind. For the upside, I would like to see it push above the 0.9750 zone right here, because at the same time the crypto would be placed back above all of its EMAs here on the daily chart. Now jumping into AUDCAD. Now this one's interesting because we are pushing nicely here to the upside, and we are flirting with this. Let me just redraw this a little bit. We're flirting with this little hurdle here, the 0.9392 zone, approximately around here. That's marked by the high of the 27th of May. Let me just double check something right here. Yeah, so in a way, what we could do here is keep an eye on a nice, beautiful number of 0.94. If that gets cleared, then yep, higher levels could be met, but let's not forget about this downside line taken from the high of the 25th of February, which could still provide resistance. So even if we pop above the 0.94 territory, then yes, we could go for some higher levels, but of course we'll be very careful near this downside line, and of course near this 0.94, 57, 58 territory, approximately around here. That's the lowest point of December of 2020, and then of course we'll take it from there, guys. But at the moment, yep, there is a bit of positivity here. However, we have not really got that break yet, so we cannot really get comfortable with further upside here in the near term. If we do get that break and we do see the daily candle remaining above that area, then yes, higher levels could be met. USDCAD, very quickly on this one. So also stuck, also not doing much, waiting for the FOMC statement. So that's why for now I'm just gonna leave it as it is here. But again, don't get me wrong, it does provide a very interesting setup here. Even if we drift a little bit to the downside here again, I'll keep an eye on this upside line taken from the low of the 1st of June. But if we break that upside line, then of course we will already be placed below the 21-day EMA, and potentially this could open the door towards some lower areas. So, but for now, let's see how this is going to play out. And yep, at the moment, if we just take it from purely what we see right now, yes, it still looks a little bit more positive than negative in the near term, of course, because from the kind of a more of a long-term perspective, I mean, you can see that we are still within a downtrend here, and basically we could draw a bunch of downside lines, which could play out, but yeah, let's not overcrowd it for now. I'll draw some downside lines if we push a little bit further north. So yep, for now, let's see how it's going to play out later on today. GBPCHF, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but yeah, let me just adjust this chart a little bit. So previously I talked about this upside line, which no longer it seems to be valid, but what I'll do here is I'm going to recycle it, and I'm going to reuse it right here to mark this downside line taken from the high of the 5th of April. Now you can see that we're very close to this downside line. We continue to try to overcome the 21-day EMA because we're currently below it, but so far the 21-day EMA is doing its job in providing resistance. And yeah, but we cannot really go lower because the 100-day EMA is doing its job. So as you can see, after testing the 1.2613 territory near this 100-day EMA, the pair kind of reversed back up here, and it's now we're now waiting for the next big move here. Of course, if we break the downside line, then keep your eyes on this barrier here, the one that I kept talking about previously, and this one is right here. Yep, that's the there. Let me just put this one on the chart. That's the high here, or should I say the barrier that kept the pair from moving higher since probably when? Since around the mid-April, something like that. But if this time that can get clear, then of course, yes, higher levels could be met. But for that, we need to see the daily candle remaining above that area. However, before we could start looking at the upside, well, certain obstacles here would need to be taken out first, like for example the 21-day EMA and this downside line. And finally EURUSD. So yep, still the same spot here, so probably yes, waiting for the FOMC statement. So keep that in mind. Like I said, be very careful. Try to be always have your stop loss in place, guys. I mean, because here, I mean, it could push still to the upside. It has some room to test, for example, the upper side of the falling channel. But if it doesn't do that and instead it just drops below the 1.2093 zone, then well, I mean, we could consider a further decline here. This would confirm a forthcoming lower low and potentially a test of the 1.2052 territory, or 51.52 approximately around here could be possible. Or we could even end up testing the lower side of the falling channel. So again, it's a tricky one, but if, for example, by any chance we manage to overcome the upper side of the falling channel and stay above it, then yes, we could consider a move further north. So guys, that's it for this session. I hope you found it useful, and yes, as I've mentioned this morning, at the moment the plan is to cancel the trader's tea time going from next week. The espresso would remain, but the tea time might get canceled. So again, we'll get to that point a little bit later, but of course, there are a few changes happening. So basically, yes, let's see how this is going to go forward. But for now, guys, I hope you have a fantastic evening. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. So thank you very much, and bye-bye.